Perez, and County Commissioners Joe Martinez, Jose Pepe Diaz, and Steve Bovo. A big shout out to Commissioner Joe Martinez. Thank you for helping us put this all together and in his district. This new site will test about 300 people a day who are 18 years or older and also must have symptoms. That will go a long way to help our residents get the medical care that they need while we continue to work aggressively to flatten the curve of COVID-19. I want to remind everyone who wants to get tested at the site that they must make an appointment first by calling 305-499-8767. Again, it's 305-499-8767, and that number works for all of the sites here in Miami-Dade County, at least the ones operated by Miami-Dade County. The call center opens at 9 a.m. every day and takes appointments for the following day until all 300 slots are filled. The call center then will close again until the next day at 9 o'clock. So once again, the number to call for an appointment to be tested here at Tamiami Fairgrounds is 305-499-8767. That's also good for Marlins Park. It's also good for the South Dade Government Center. Remember, we should all act as if we were carrying the virus. That's why we are safer at home. And now I'm going to speak briefly in Spanish before I turn it over to Dr. Roldan. Buenos días. Gracias a todos que están aquí participando aplicando la distancia social. Estamos separados por 6 pies o más y sabemos que esto ayuda a parar el contagio de COVID-19. Hoy abrimos este sitio de pruebas estilo drive-thru aquí en el terreno de la feria. Gracias a FIU, a la doctora Eneida Roldan y al Departamento de Salud por colaborar con el condado para ofrecer este centro. Y gracias al comisionado Joe Martinez por su apoyo en este trabajo en su distrito. También está aquí el comisionado José Pepe Díaz y Esteban Bobo. Muchas gracias a todos los comisionados. Igual que en los otros sitios de pruebas del condado, aquí pueden hacer 300 exámenes al día. Y también está el representante Danny Perez también. Muchas gracias por estar aquí. Pero hay que hacer una cita para hacer la prueba. Las personas de 18 años de edad o más que tienen síntomas de COVID-19 deben de llamar al 305-499-8767 para su turno. El centro de llamadas abre a las 9 de la mañana todos los días y no cierra hasta que se llenen las citas para el día siguiente. Y ese centro también toma llamadas para citas en el centro de gobierno en el sur del condado y también en Marlins Park. De nuevo, el número a llamar es el 305-499-8767. Recuerden, todos están más seguros en su casa. Gracias, que Dios los bendiga. Muchas gracias. Thank you. And now Dr. Roldan will speak, followed by a few words from Speaker-Designate Perez. Thank you. God bless you.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I want to thank the Miami-Dade County Commission, and we're here with them today. We have Commissioner Martinez. Thank you very much. We have Commissioner Diaz and Commissioner Stephen Bovo, and also Representative Daniel Perez. So on behalf of President Rosenberg, I would like to thank Miami-Dade County, the Youth Fair, and also the Florida Department of Health. I am here on behalf of Florida International University to say present. We are here to serve our community. All healthcare workers are on board. We have medical students, we have PA students, physician assistant students, we have nursing students, we have public health. So this is a true collaboration of all the colleges across Florida International University in conjunction with our county. So today we joined the many centers that have been open across the county to say that we are here to care for our patients and for our community. We ask those of you that have symptoms to please call. We're going to be here. We're going to be doing approximately 300 tests a day, and we hope to be here 4 to 6 weeks or as long as you need us. It is through testing that we can actually start knowing and how this virus works. So we are very hopeful and optimistic that we can win this battle. not only the battle, but the war. We are doing something very special on this particular testing site. Our Dean of the College of Medicine, Dean Robert Saxton, together with collaboration of our medical faculty, have actually developed an algorithm. So those of you that will be here at the testing site, you will see that there are 2 stations that will ask you to hold your breath for 15 seconds. And that will indicate if you have any type of pulmonary constriction. We understand through the cases in China, as well as those in Europe, and those countries that have been affected by the virus before us, that those patients have to have medical help immediately. So we're doing that, and in conjunction with, and I want to thank Carlos Duarte and the lab, that we're going to be rushing those specimens so that we can help those patients as soon as possible. So I will echo Mayor Gimenez's words. Yes, it is safer at home. Yes, practice social distancing. And yes, if you have symptoms, please know that we are open and we're here to care for the community of Miami-Dade County. If you would like, I could say now in Spanish.
You can, yes, go ahead.
Buenos días a todos. Muchísimas gracias, alcalde Gimenez. Le quiero dar las gracias a los comisionados que tenemos aquí con nosotros hoy, comisionado Martínez, comisionado Díaz y el comisionado Esteban Bobo, y tenemos también el representante Daniel Pérez. Quiero decir que el Florida International University y en nombre del presidente Rosenberg estamos aquí diciendo presente. Estamos aquí para ayudar a aquellos que están afligidos con el coronavirus. Quiero decirles que si tienen síntomas pueden venir aquí. Estamos haciendo algo especial en este centro en particular, y es un template que hemos hecho, que hemos desarrollado para saber cuáles son los pacientes que pueden necesitar ayuda médica, sobre todo hospitalización lo antes posible. Quiere decir, aquellas personas que vienen aquí van a haber 2 estaciones. Esas 2 estaciones dicen de aguantar la respiración por 15 segundos. Van a indicarnos con el dedo arriba o el dedo abajo para saber si lo pueden hacer. Sabemos que con nuestros colegas de alrededor del mundo global, sobre todo los de China y en otros en Europa, sabemos que personas que ya están afligidas con el virus, sobre todo en la manera respiratoria, que es la manera más fuerte, podemos entonces atenderlos lo antes posible y poderles dar atención. Quiero dar las gracias a mis colegas de lo que es la Escuela de Medicina, la Escuela de Enfermería y la Escuela de Salud Pública por estar aquí. A nuestros futuros médicos que tenemos aquí también, que tenemos los estudiantes de la Escuela de Medicina, Enfermería y de Salud Pública, porque sí, ellos son nuestro futuro. Los estamos preparando para que esto no vuelva a pasar, y muy importante saber cuál es la causa de este virus. El alcalde, estamos aquí presentes y para ayudar a nuestra comunidad. Muchísimas gracias.
Thank you, Doctor, and we really appreciate it. And this is a great example of collaboration and community-wide collaboration as we open, again, another center. Thank you to FIU. Thank you, Doctor, for your cooperation. FIU, the FIU Fairgrounds, the School of Medicine, the state of Florida, Miami-Dade County, all coming together to open the center. I also want to remind folks that you may be getting a call, and that the call with a recorded message from myself asking you to participate in a medical study that we're conducting now to determine the extent of the penetration of this virus in our community. Please answer the phone. Please volunteer. It's relatively painless, just a little pinprick, and in 15 minutes you'll be able to get the results of whether you are positive or not. It's a really important study that we're conducting here. Answer the phone. You can go to one of 10 different places to get the exam. It's totally free. And we really need the information. So that's something else on top of the folks that actually have symptoms that are coming to the center. And now I'd like to turn it over to the speaker designee of the Florida House of Representatives, Daniel Perez.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I think everyone has echoed such important points. But as of last night, I saw a stat that I thought was important for us to make note of, and that was that in District 116, which is where Commissioner Martinez and I share space. It's right here where we stand. In this area, in this community, there are almost 600 positive COVID tests that have come back to us from people that are actually living in our district. And it's important to note that because many people still believe, unfortunately, that this is a fallacy. Ladies and gentlemen, this is not a fallacy. This is something that has to be taken very seriously. And I thank Mayor Gimenez, the county commissioners, the state of Florida, for making sure that we act promptly swiftly, and with the most importance we can. Thank you, Dr. Rodon and FIU, for allowing us to collaborate on this important issue. Week after week, the commissioners and the state elected officials have gotten together to provide food and food distributions for those that live in this same area. I can't emphasize enough how important and real this is when we speak to those families on a weekly basis. The unemployment rate is real, but we can change that step by step if we continue to practice social distancing. If you have those symptoms, please call the number that Dr. Rodon and Mayor Gimenez mentioned. Come get tested. That is exactly what this is for. Take advantage of it. Day by day, we are seeing improvements in our community, but every day needs to get better. And it is up to the individuals in our communities to make sure that we continue to move in a positive direction. And so on behalf of all of us, we ask you to please continue to take this virus very seriously. This is not a joke. It is something concrete, and it is not abstract. Once again, thank you to FIU. Thank you to the Youth Fair for allowing us to collaborate. Thank you to the county and to Governor DeSantis for the collaboration and hopefully moving this in the positive direction. Thank you very much.
Thank you, and I've got to thank also the governor. The governor has been there every step of the way. Anytime we make a call to the governor's office, we get what we're asking for. And so again, we have great collaboration with our state partners. Thank you, Representative, for being here. Now we can take some questions, English or Spanish. Which should we go? English first? Okay. Good morning. It appears that they're going to actually move it inside to the pavilions, and so, but you still will have the 250 bed capacity. There's been, originally it was to be excess folks coming out of hospitals last 2 or 3 days. They can go to this hospital. This may be used for a surge for COVID-19 patients. That's still something in the air, but I believe it's being now moved inside to the inside the pavilion. Very similar to what's happening later on today. We'll be announcing about a 450 bed facility over at the convention center. It's going to be inside the convention center. I actually think it makes sense to do that. If you have that space, you have that wide open space already with air conditioning and bathroom facilities, I think it makes sense to move it inside. So I'm supportive of that.
I'm actually going to be asking a few questions for other stations as well.
Sure.
Outside
No problem.
But I just wanted to ask about that reported message that you mentioned. It's going to be calling random people and then asking them questions, and then if they fit a criteria, ask them to get tested.
If you're willing to be part of the medical study, then it'll then shift you over to call takers that are working. Excuse me, doctor, out of the University of Miami. Okay, and so they're working out of the University of Miami, and they're running the study in collaboration. We work with all of our universities here, and so they'll ask you a set of questions, and then they will set you up for an appointment to go to one of 10 sites to go ahead and get tested.
Dr. Rodon, I just wanted to ask you a question about the algorithm that you came up with. So it indicates you have a pulmonary constriction, but that doesn't necessarily mean you have tested positive for COVID-19, right? It's just a step toward indicating you might have COVID-19.
That's absolutely correct. What we're doing right now is we're doing that simple test because, as you know, as the cars approach, they cannot lower the windows, and obviously we can't speak to the patients. And that is to mitigate exposure to a potential virus. If you have symptoms, that is called, through the CDC guidelines, is a presumptive case, and therefore we want to mitigate exposure. What simply that means is that there could be a pulmonary, the lungs could be affected, but hence this then comes the testing. What we're doing here is we will put a rush, because if you have that symptom and then you also have a positive COVID, which would be, the results would be within 24 hours, then we go ahead and we contact the patient. We know that through the studies that we have from Europe, that these patients could basically be very, very sick in a very short amount of time. This virus affects and affects the body very quickly, and when you have the pulmonary function compromised, we know that that individual may be those that end up in a ventilator. And we know that through the studies. So that is what we're doing here right now.
Mayor,
Well, we've been working on a similar concept for over a week with the state of Florida, and so we announced that we were going to do that, I think, on Saturday. But we wanted to make sure that we did it the right way, and so if you go to one of 26 sites that we're opening, as a matter of fact, we're going to do a press conference over at Palm Springs North Library, that it better be a lot more organized. We have lines on the ground that puts you 6 feet apart. We will have police officers there, and so the 26 sites that we were opening up around the county, we expect it to be a lot smoother. We expect a lot of people, and so if we do find that we got to open up more sites because there are a lot of people here suffering, then we will open up more sites. But right now we're starting out with 26. That's 2 in each commission district, and then we'll see how it goes from there. There will be police officers there. There will be employees from the library system there. They will be enforcing social distancing. It's basically you come up, you pick up your application, you go, you fill it out at home. Then when you're ready, we give you an envelope, you bring it back, you drop it off at the library. We then take that to Career Source, and then from there, they will overnight it to the state of Florida. And so it's our effort to help the unemployed here get their unemployment compensation as quickly as they can in their pockets. And we've been working with the state for well over a week on how we could help the state with the problems that they've had with unemployment compensation. Yes. Correct. So we need to see how it goes today, but you will be distancing, social distancing. And if we have to open more, like I said, we will open more. But there's 26 sites around Miami-Dade County that you can go to. All libraries. It'll be outside. It won't be inside. And so we've printed them out in three languages: Spanish, English, and Creole. And then they can go out and fill the application. Not there. They're going to have to go home to fill it out, and then return and drop off the application.
Mr. Mayor, going back to COVID-19, as of right now, are there any plans to open up additional drive-through testing sites?
We will open up additional sites as needed, and so we're always looking to see if we can open up additional sites. It all depends on the resources. A lot of it has to do with the number of testing kits. There are sufficient testing kits for this site and the Marlin site and the South Dade Government Center. We just want to make sure that they're spread out evenly. You have one in Marlins Park in the middle of town. You have one north at the Hard Rock. You have one south at South Dade Government Center. Now you have one west. If we need more, we will open up more.
Gotcha. This question comes from another reporter who's over there right now. She asked, what is your assessment of how the county is doing in providing testing opportunities for people so far?
We probably have provided way more tests than anybody else. That's why you have so many positives here in Miami-Dade. The more tests that we give, the more positives you're gonna have. A lot of people are freaked out by that. I'm not. All right. What we look at is how many people are actually going to the hospital. What's the bed? What's the hospital capacity of Miami-Dade? What is the ventilator capacity of Miami-Dade? What is the ICU capacity of Miami-Dade? And I can tell you that those numbers really haven't fluctuated too much. Yesterday we had about as many people going to the hospital because of COVID-19 as we had being discharged because of COVID-19. In other words, that's the one thing that concerns me is, are we going to start to eat up that capacity that we have in Miami-Dade? We have thousands of open, vacant hospital beds. We have hundreds of ventilators that are not being used. We have hundreds of ICU beds that are also vacant. If we start to see that start to diminish, then I'm going to start to get a little worried. Right now, I'm worried about everybody that's sick. I'm worried about all the people, the people that are unfortunately passing away. But it's that number, those numbers are the ones that we really keep an eye on. Don't look so much to how many positives we have. Okay, a lot of people have COVID-19 and are going to have some kind of symptoms, but are not going to need to be hospitalized. It's those that need to be hospitalized, and especially those that need to go on ventilators or ICU. Those are the ones that concern me.
So we hear that word flatten the curve often, in the media and by health officials. Is there any indication that Miami-Dade is going to hit that point yet, or you still?
Well, we're not gonna hit the flattening the curve because we're testing more people. All right, and I can tell you that I think there's probably 5 to 10 times as many people positive. It may be even more. That's why we want this study to figure out how many people really are positive in Miami-Dade. And so it could be a lot of people that are positive, but they're not sick enough to go to the hospital. You can stay in your home. You can isolate yourself at the house. You either have a fever, you have a cold. It's like a flu. But for certain people, this virus really hits hard. And as the doctor said, if you find yourself that you have a fever and that somehow you can't hold your breath for 15 seconds, then you need to A, call your doctor, because a lot of testing is also being done by hospitals where somebody is actually shows symptoms, is seriously ill. They'll do the testing there too, okay? And so don't wait to come here to get tested. If you feel really ill, call your doctor and then go to the hospital.
If I may add to the mayor's comment, one of the things that we're also doing here, and everyone that is coming to this center, is what's called the patient disposition, which means after you get the test, you will be receiving 2 flyers that are from the CDC, but they're very important. One flyer in particular we added. And I would like to say that anyone that is getting tested, which means they have some symptoms, and we're still in the flu season, and we still have allergy season, right? But if you are getting tested, that means that you're presumptive COVID. That means from the time you get tested, please quarantine yourself. One of the things that is happening, and we have seen it at our clinics, is that individuals that get tested continue and just waiting for the test. And we know that some of the tests, because of the thousands and thousands of tests, is really putting a burden on the labs. So they continue to go, even though they have social distancing, they continue to be exposed even to their family members. So we are asking everyone, not only in this center, everyone that is getting tested at every center, from the time you get tested, presume you are positive. Therefore, you need to start quarantine from that day on. You wait for your results. If the results are positive, then you go on to the next stage, which will be isolation. There's a difference between quarantine and isolation. And that particular information we are providing are those that are getting tested on this testing site. Absolutely. Okay, quarantine basically means you distance yourself and you try to go and not have to use utensils, just things of your daily use in the home. The isolation is completely isolation. The individual that is giving you the food, etc., needs to just leave the food there. You need to open it. So it's a little bit a higher scale because now we know we have an infected individual. So I urge everyone that is going to any testing center to please consider that day 1 of quarantine until such time you get your results. This is another way that we can flatten the curve so that we don't have exposure of these individuals that are waiting for the test and they're assuming they might not be positive. Okay, so that's a very important message. Cómo no, hoy lo que vamos a estar usando es el aguantar lo que es la respiración por 15 minutos. Sabemos que
segundos.
15 segundos, perdón.
Sí.
No, si no, entonces sí lo tenemos que llevar para el hospital. Segundos. Perdón, por 15 segundos. Entonces, lo que hacemos es, porque eso es importante por lo que es la respiración y lo que es la función pulmonar. Pero el algoritmo ya tiene otros factores. Tiene el factor de las enfermedades. Quiere decir, sabemos que hay ciertas enfermedades que son más predispuestos a lo que es tener el virus. Tiene la respiración, tiene lo que es el pulso, tiene otros tipos de signos que estamos usando, sobre todo en la telemedicina. Eso se está usando en la telemedicina, quiere decir las personas que no quieren ir a las oficinas, pues entonces se puede hacer por el televideo o hasta por el teléfono, se puede hacer ese tipo. Y sí, son 15 segundos, si no, sí, verdad que los tenemos que llevar al hospital. Gracias. No, toda persona que va a los centros tienen que tener citas y las personas tienen que llamar a ese número y le van a hacer una serie de preguntas que básicamente es enfocado en los síntomas.
No. Sí.
¿Hay planes de comenzar a hacer pruebas para las personas que no tienen vehículos en este momento?
En estos centros no, pero no hay. Estos no son los únicos centros donde hay exámenes. Si usted tiene síntomas, una persona de mayor edad, llame a su doctor. Su doctor lo va a decir que vaya a un centro de emergencia o si no un urgent care center, y en esos centros también se hacen exámenes. Así que estos no son la única manera que tú puedes recibir un examen en el condado de Miami-Dade. Yes, if you have symptoms, if you don't have a car, this is not the only way that you can get tested in Miami-Dade. You can call your doctor. You can go to urgent care centers and emergency rooms. They have tests there also. If you have symptoms, they will test you. And so, no, this is not the only way to get tested here in Miami-Dade. Yes. Unfortunately, in the property the property appraiser's office, they have a job to do that they have to get done by a certain time. So the time period wasn't extended. That's a state thing that they have to do in order actually to protect the money that's coming into the school system. All right, so they have to do that. We are trying to give all of our employees as much protective gear as that we have to protect them. As you can see, all the police officers, all the firefighters have that. I've given orders to also do the same for our transit workers as much as we have. Obviously, we know that we have a shortage of these masks around the country. We're ordering as much as we can to protect our employees the best that we can, but there are certain services that are vital in our community, and we are doing the best that we can for them too. What I've heard is that COVID-19 could be a very, very, I think it's called efficacious, right, in the medical term, for the use of COVID-19 hydrochloroquine, and also with a Z-Pack. And there's been some studies that say some remarkable results have happened from that. Yes, there are side effects, probably cardiac related, with the use of hydrochloroquine. But it appears that there's great promise to the use of that, so I applaud the governor for getting it, and so that our residents here in the state of Florida have access to that treatment. That is a stopgap until we finally get a vaccine, but the vaccine won't be ready for at least a year. If we find a treatment for it that's actually works very well, then people that are infected that would normally die would not, because at least we have some kind of treatment for it. And so I think that I know that there is a doctor from FIU that is collaborating, Dr. Marty, is collaborating on the study with the use of I don't know if it's hydroxychloroquine, and they have found very good results around the world. And so she's part of that study, and she's pretty high on it. And I'm pretty high on her, so I think I'd take it if something happened to me.
I think it's a great opportunity to use, any study that when we implement a medication for a particular disease, we need population. We need a large sample size, and then from that we study what's called outcomes. So because we've already had very positive outcomes to our colleagues around the world using the hydroxychloroquine and the Z-Pack, the azithromycin, this is a perfect opportunity to basically do what we call study on the field. So, and patients are recovering and they're doing well. And as the mayor said, yes, one of the things that we see is that it has to be under a doctor's supervision, because we do see prolongation of the Q wave, which is actually cardiac. So there are cardiac implications, but under the supervision of a doctor, you should be fine.
Thank you very much.
Yes, my first name is Enida, and last name is Roldan.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.